So this is EC 201 lecture 25. So yesterday we derived another possible device can give you incremental gain, and we saw that it's quite a natural consequence of things. Instead of choosing the 3-terminal 2-port one way, we chose it another way, and then we deduced the characteristics, and we found that in practice there exists a real device with such characteristics. It's called the p-channel MOS transistor, and the constituent device equations are very similar to those we encountered in the n-channel case, with a few minor differences regarding signs of the voltages applied and so on. Since we've been through the NMOS case, we can quickly zip through the PMOS case, and we saw how to build up a common source PMOS amplifier. So this was RA, this was RB, this is VDD. As usual, the source and the load are coupled capacitively to the amplifier through infinite capacitors, and in practice we realize that it is not possible to have infinite capacitors. So how would you choose the size of the capacitor? Correct. So if you know that, for example, you're going to use the amplifier in an audio application, you know that the ear is not sensitive to anything below 20 Hertz, so you would try and make the R Thevenin times C time constant much larger than 1/2 times 20 Hertz. You've seen this all before. The same reasoning that held for the NMOS transistors also holds for the PMOS case, so I'm not going to spend any time trying to discuss all that. When you have a practical PMOS transistor, what do you think are the problems with this amplifier as we have on the board now? VT will vary from device to device. VT could also vary all over the place with temperature. So that would result in the quiescent current through the transistor changing quite a bit, which would also cause the change in the gain, which would cause the change in the swing and all this other stuff. So what we want to do is to try and make the drain current of the transistor independent of the VT of the device. Okay, and what can we use to make the drain current of the transistor independent of the threshold of the device? Use negative feedback. So I will quickly go over what we did for the NMOS with the first thing that we considered for the NMOS transistor was measure current in the drain and go and tweak the gate voltage instead of going through that long-winded explanation. Now I'm sure you're all experts at this stuff. So what should I do? I should compare the drain current ID with IRF. IRF should be flowing in what direction? Must be flowing downwards. And if you look at the potential of this node X, so this is, let me call this VG. If the node potential at X increases, it means that ID is too large or too small? Too large. What knob do I have to control ID? VG. So if ID is too large and I want to reduce it, what should I do to VG? Increase or decrease? Increase. Why? It's a PMOS transistor. The larger VDD minus VG is, the more drain current will flow. So to reduce ID, I must push VG up. If ID is too large, I must try and attempt to decrease ID, and this can only be done by increasing VG. So what is the obvious thing to do? As we have seen with the NMOS case, the obvious thing to do is to connect X to VG. And I'm obviously skipping a lot of details, simply because you're used to the same stuff from So if I want to draw the complete circuit, one thing to do would be, if I had two identical transistors with the same, on the same chip for example, then I could use one transistor to go and figure out what VGS I need, which will force the drain current to be equal to IRef, and apply the same VGS to another identical device, and the second device, that is this chap here, is the one which is who is doing the actual amplification. Okay, this is a completely flipped over version of the current mirror, and we have done this with respect to the NMOS transistor, so there is like hardly anything exciting. And as we did with the NMOS case, we have some bias resistor RB, RL. How would I apply the signal? Put an infinite capacitor, RS, PS. What do you think is the quiescent voltage at the output of the amplifier? The quiescent potential at the output here would be IRef times RL, because of the mirror. For DC, the current flowing here is IRef. That current flows through RL, so the DC potential at the output must be IRef times. Pretty straightforward. And how will you choose RB? So how will you choose RB? Can I choose RB to be any old thing, or should I should choose RB to be much larger than RS. What is the incremental gain? If RB is much larger than RS, then the incremental voltage at this node is approximately Vs. So what is the incremental voltage at the drain? It's minus GMRL, provided the transistor is operating in saturation, which means how would I ensure that the transistor is operating in saturation? For a fixed VDD, if this is fixed, if the W by L of the transistor is fixed and the IRF is fixed, how should I choose RL to ensure that the transistor operates in saturation? Okay, what is the potential at this node? Yes, this potential, the potential here is nothing but VDD minus VSG of the transistor. And what is VSG? VSG is nothing but VTP plus square root of 2 IRef by mu P Cox W by L. Does it make sense? Am I right? How would I choose RL to ensure the transistor operates in saturation? So, I mean, what defines the limit of saturation for this guy? The drain can go one threshold above the gate. Okay, so the gate potential, the drain potential, which is IRF times RL, can go one threshold above the gate. And what is the gate sitting at? It's plus VG, okay, which means IRF times RL must be VTP plus VDD minus VTP plus square root of 2 IRF by mu P Cox W by L. You understand? And the VTP cancel out, and you see that IREF RL can be as large as VDD minus square root of 2 IREF divided by mu PCOX W by R. Can I go on increasing RL and expecting to get more and more gain? The gain is minus GM RL. Okay. Can I go on increasing the RL to get more and more gain? What will happen if I go on increasing RL in the greedy hope of getting more and more gain? The quiescent if I go on increasing RL, the quiescent potential at the drain, which is IREF times RL, will go on increasing more and more and more, and eventually will push this device into the triode region where suddenly you start to have increment, the transistor is becoming a voltage controlled current source. This current source becomes non-ideal, and there is a very low output impedance across the current source, which causes the gain to fall off. If I want to go on increasing RL and still get more gain, how can I do that? What could I vary and still get away with it? If I want to keep IREF constant, and if I wanted to go on increasing RL, one way of getting a larger and larger gain by increasing RL is to go on increasing the supply voltage. So you can see that the supply voltage does impose a limit on the maximum gain you can get from a common source amplifier. And while this is being shown here for a specific case, it turns out to be true in general, that as the supply voltages go lower and lower and lower, it becomes increasingly difficult to get larger and larger gains. So the next instance of bias stabilization is to measure we realize that the drain current and the source current are one and the same thing. So instead of measuring current in the drain and feeding back at and controlling the gate potential, what you could alternatively do is to measure the current in the source. So if this was V bias, the gate is fixed to a constant voltage, so we agree that we don't want to fool around with the gate terminal, so it's connected to a fixed bias voltage. And we would want to measure the current through we want to compare, in other words, the current through the source with the reference current. So and then tweak the source itself in the right direction so as to bring the current back to the value that you desire. So what do we do we can just, I'm not going to go through the same arguments I did for the NMOS case. What do you expect? You just push IREF into the source like this, and if you kind of look at the potential of at this node, if IREF is greater than ID, what does that mean? It means that Vx is if IREF is greater than ID, Vx will increase, okay? But if IREF is greater than ID, it basically means that ID is too small, which means that the potential at node X is too small to begin with, okay? And by kind of hooking up IREF to the source in this fashion, the potential at node X is going to rise automatically, alright? Thereby making ID exactly equal to IREF. Does it make sense? So this will also be equal to IREF. Okay. So if I now want to use this as a common source amplifier, I figured out how to bias it. The next thing is to add generate all these voltages and add the input signal and the output load. So let me do that. V bias. There is no need for me to have a separate battery. I could, for instance, generate it using a string of resistors. Okay, this generates the bias voltage. This, what do I do with the drain? and is an amplifier, it needs a source and a load. Connect RL, okay. If I am not happy with DC current flowing through the load resistor, I could capacitively couple another load RL. The last thing to do is add the source. So what would I do? So am I done with my common source amplifier, or am I missing something? What is the incremental gain from input to output now? All the capacitors are infinite, that's correct. When can the output incremental voltage change? When incremental current flows through RL1. If incremental current flows through this branch, it must automatically flow through this branch, which means that somehow it must be coming from the transistor. But you have a current source in the source of the transistor, which is mandating that the current through the transistor, the total current, remain fixed at Iref. So the current through the transistor as we have it cannot change. So the incremental gain of this must be 0. We have seen this before. I mean, if you are not happy with this argument, you can actually replace the transistor by its incremental equivalent circuit and the current source by its incremental equivalent circuit, which is going to be an open circuit. But you want a common source amplifier, you want the source to be incrementally grounded, whereas in this case the source is incrementally open. The gain will be 0. If I wanted to get a gain of minus GM times RL parallel RL1, what should I do? I need the source to be incrementally grounded, so I put an infinite capacitor between the between the source and VDD. This plate of this capacitor, instead of hooking it to VDD, I could hook it to ground or any other constant potential voltage source for incremental signals is ground. So the incremental gain is minus GM RL parallel RL1. How would I compute the maximum amplitude of the input sinusoid, which will result in an output which still looks like a sine wave? We know the operating point of the device, so it is carrying a quiescent current of Iref. It's carrying and we know the quiescent drain. What is the quiescent drain voltage, by the way? What is the quiescent potential at this node? Iref RL. The quiescent potential at this node? It's VDD times RA by RA plus RB. And once you find the quiescent values, you can then find the incremental values, draw the incremental network, find the incremental values, and then you'll be able to find the total potential at the drain, the total potential at the gate. The total potential at the drain can go 1 VT above the total potential at the gate. You know all the total potentials, so you just solve the equation, you'll get the limit for the triode region operation. For the limit for cutoff would be, you know the quiescent current, which is Iref, you know the GM of the transistor, and which means that you will be able to figure out what the incremental current of the through the transistor will be, and the amplitude of the input signal, which results in the total current through the drain of the transistor going to 0, is that amplitude which results in the transistor being cut off. And to find absolute maximum amplitude that will result in distortion free operation, well, you find the minimum of both the triode limit and the cutoff limit. Is pretty straightforward, and this is just a recap of what we did with the NMOS transistor with the PMOS. Technique that we looked at was what? You measure drain current. Drain current in the transistor is a function of the gate source voltage. So you have the freedom of either yanking the source or yanking the gate. So, and measuring the current either through the source or the drain. So that gives 4 possibilities. The third possibility is, so we agree again that the gate is fixed to some bias voltage. So you measure current through the drain, compare it with Iref. Alright, and go and tweak Vs in a manner so as to keep ID equal to Iref. Okay, this is what you do in a lab, right? You put an ammeter in the drain, and if you had a variable voltage source, you go and look at the difference between ID and Iref and go and tweak the variable voltage source such that ID is exactly equal to Iref. If ID is greater than Iref, the node potential at X will increase. So if ID is greater than Iref, what does it mean with regard to Vs? Is it too large or is it too small? Okay, so if ID is greater than Iref, node potential at X increases, and this means that Vs is too large or too high. So I must reduce. Any suggestions on what I should do now? When the node potential at X is increasing, I must reduce Vs. Okay, so I need some kind of inverting amplifier. One way of doing it is to use an op amp. So you compare the potential of this node X to some constant value called Vref. If the node potential at X starts to increase beyond Vref, you know that ID is too large, which basically means that I must reduce Vs. So what must be the signs on the op amp? If this goes up, this must come down, which means the signs on the op amp are minus and plus. That makes sense? And once everything is settled, the drain current through the op amp will, through the transistor will exactly be equal to Iref, independent of the threshold of the device. How would I choose Vref to ensure that the transistor operates in the saturation region? I must make sure that Vref is smaller than V bias plus VTP. Alright, so once given this bias arrangement, I'm sure now you're all very familiar with how to make a common source amplifier by adding infinite capacitors at the right places and getting rid of the op amp as far as the small signal equivalent is concerned. So the last bias stabilization technique, which I didn't do for the NMOS case, is what? I didn't do it in the class, but the problem 2 in the quiz is basically that. Measure through the source of the transistor and go and fiddle with the gate. This is VDD, this is Iref, this is the node X. This gate potential is the potential I plan to vary in order to make ID equal to Iref. So to cut a long story short, I would have ideally put an ammeter in the source and gone and tweaked the gate in the right direction. Now if the potential at node X is increasing, what does it mean? Iref is much larger than ID, or ID is too small, which basically means that VG is either too large or too small? Too large. So I must go and reduce VG. In other words, what I need to do is to compare the node potential at X with some fixed value, some reference, and do what? If this voltage is increasing, it means that ID is too small. I must go and increase ID, and that has to be accomplished by reducing VG. And again, since these two are of the opposite sign, you need an amplifier with an inverting gain. What we could do is to use an operational amplifier. So what are the signs on the op amp? Which is plus and which is minus? The left is plus, the right is minus. And which is plus and which is minus of this op amp? Minus is on top, plus is on the bottom. Okay, the same circuit, just looks different, that's all. Does it make sense? You can add infinite capacitors and basically get rid of the op amp as far as the incremental equivalent circuit is concerned and operate it, whichever way you want. So the bias technique is quite independent of what the incremental circuit is doing. I'm sure you've by now understood this. So once we figure out how to bias, what did we do next? We realized that in principle there is nothing limiting the GM of the transistor. So whether it's NMOS or PMOS, by burning sufficiently large amount of current, you have at your disposal in principle an infinite voltage controlled current source. So whether it is NMOS or PMOS, this is the incremental equivalent of the transistor when it is operating in saturation. Okay, incremental equivalent of an NMOS or a PMOS transistor operating in saturation. As I said, in principle this GM can be infinite. So what did we use this for in the NMOS case? We used it to make a whole bunch of controlled sources where if GM tended to infinity, the properties of these controlled sources would all tend to the corresponding ideal properties that such a controlled source is supposed to have. So when you built a voltage controlled voltage source, you would get, if GM tended to infinity, an input impedance equal to infinity, an output impedance equal to 0 and a voltage gain equal to 1. So what we did for the NMOS case, we can easily do for the PMOS case, which I will quickly finish now. So the first thing to do is an incremental voltage controlled voltage source with a gain of 1. How did the incremental equivalent look like? We derived it in the following manner, which I will quickly go through. So you have an output port and you are interested in making V out, where all these quantities are all incremental quantities. We are interested in making V out equal to V in. If you were in a lab and you wanted to make V out equal to V in and you had a variable current source, what would you do? You would basically, V out was smaller than V in, you would pump more current into the load resistor. V out was larger than V in, you would pump less current. In other words, this current source is controlled by the difference between V in and V out, and we identified that this current is some GM times V in minus V out. And we said that if GM tends to infinity, then V in will be exactly equal to V out. And we identified that as being the equivalent, incremental equivalent of a MOS transistor operating in saturation. Okay. The last time around we saw that it was an NMOS transistor operating in saturation. Whether you have an NMOS transistor operating in saturation or a PMOS transistor operating in saturation, the incremental equivalent is the same. So instead of associating the stuff in the green circle with an NMOS transistor, you could have as well associated with the PMOS device. So which should be the gate of the PMOS? V in should be the gate of the PMOS. Great. Okay. Which should be the drain of the PMOS? Incremental ground. Okay. Source of the PMOS? V out, and that's connected to. This should be the incremental equivalent of whatever circuit you come up with, and then you will find that the incremental gain from the input to the output here will tend to 1 when Gm tends to infinity. Does it make sense? Can somebody help me figure out how to bias this quickly? I want this incremental circuit. The drain in the second bias technique was grounded. Here also in the incremental circuit is grounded, so presumably things will be easier. I mean, you don't have to do anything extra to make the drain grounded. So what you can do is the following. This is VDD, this is IRF, this is the infinite capacitor, this is RL. I need to bias up the gate through one way of doing it is to use some appropriate combination of resistors. So this circuit here on the left side represents the incremental circuit, and this is the real circuit. And if you go into the lab and do this, you will get nothing. I hope you understand that now. And from here to here there are any number of ways of doing it. Okay, but the mapping from here to here is only, a given circuit will have only one incremental equivalent network, whereas to realize a given incremental circuit there are many ways of coming up with the real network. That makes sense? The next thing is the voltage controlled current source, and what we call this, the trans conductance or trans admittance amplifier, where the aim is to generate I out, an incremental output current which is Vn by some R. You understand? And how would you do this? We would, if you had a variable current source, and we have discussed this before, so I am not going to go through this all over again. If you have a variable current source, I would pass this current through R. Please note that I out is equal to Vn by R is equivalent to saying I out times R must be equal to Vn. So if my output current is right, then the current multiplied when passed through a resistor R must give me the input voltage. So one simple thing to do is to pass this I out through R and compare the voltage developed across R with Vn, and this is exactly the same equivalent that we have earlier, except that the output we desire is different. So this here is a controlled source which is again dependent on, if I call this Vx, Vn minus Vx, and as Gm tends to infinity, Vx will be equal to Vn, which means that the incremental current here will be Vn by R, okay, which is what is I out. So the output current, the current that you desire is shown in red here. As usual, the next job is to associate this with the transistor. The last time around we associated it with a NMOS transistor, and since an NMOS transistor and a PMOS transistor have the same incremental equivalent circuit, it is perfectly legal to associate it with a PMOS transistor instead. Okay, now you guys got to tell me which is the input, which is where I must connect R, and which is my output. R must be in the source. Okay. The output must be, the drain is connected to ground and incrementally, and this is the output current, and the gate must be the input incremental voltage. So any suggestions on how I might get the real network which corresponds to this? The easiest alternative is to copy paste the old one. And what is the incremental? So the incremental current I out that you are looking for is in this direction. As Gm tends to infinity, implies I out becomes equal to Vs by RL. Does that make sense? Okay, so so the third thing is the current control. Oh, by the way, before I forget, what would you call this amplifier? What did you call it in the NMOS case? The common drain amplifier. The drain incrementally is common to both the source and the load, and the current controlled current source with a gain of 1. Okay, in the NMOS case we called it the common gate, and the basic idea is to make, if you had a variable current source, if you want to make it exactly equal to the input current, what you would do would be to compare this input current to the output current. If I out is greater than I in, what will happen to the potential at X? It will increase. One way of making sure that I out is exactly equal to I in is to monitor the potential at, compare it to ground, and tweak I out until the node potential at X basically comes to ground, which will only happen when I out is exactly equal to I in. In other words, we identify this as being a current controlled by 0 minus the node potential at X, and we identify this chap with the transistor. The last time around we identified it with an NMOS transistor. This time we identify it with a PMOS transistor, since a PMOS transistor or an NMOS transistor operating in saturation have the same incremental equivalent. The gate is grounded. Very good. X corresponds to which terminal of the MOS transistor? The source. So incrementally this must be IN, and the drain current, how will you generate the real circuit? One way of doing it, by ref, we hook this up to some bias voltage, RB, RA, VDD. One thing to do is to have infinite capacitor here and hook this up to an incremental current source IN. Since I have changed the direction of IN, the incremental output current is I out in this direction, and since no current flows to the gate, it hardly matters that at the gate we wanted it to be grounded, but now it is going to incremental ground. So resistance of value RA parallel RB, but since no current flows to the gate, it doesn't matter, but at high frequencies this is not true, so it's common practice to put a capacitor there too. And this is the complete circuit for a common gate amplifier. If Gm tends to infinity, what happens to the input impedance? If Gm tends to infinity, what is the input impedance of an ideal, of the current control current source? 0. The question is this capacitor strictly necessary? It is not strictly necessary. Okay, you can actually hook IN directly into the source. If, for example, instead of the current source, I had a voltage source and a resistor, if RS was very large and I had an incremental voltage source here, if Gm tends to infinity, can somebody quickly tell me what is incremental I out? The input impedance tends to 0 as Gm tends to infinity. So the incremental current flowing in this direction will be Vs by Rs. The same thing will come out through the other end of the transistor, so the output current will be Vs by Rs. The last thing is the transimpedance amplifier that I will do more.